Hi there, and welcome to Neophyte.tv, the technology show for the not-so-geeky. We're having fun today in our studio, aren't we?
We are.
We're just telling jokes. My name's Tiffany Young.
And I'm Ben Friedman. And today, we are going to be looking at 4 really cool new input device aids or helpers or cool new input devices. Input devices being
versus output.
Mouse, trackball, Wacom pen input, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And the first one, and this is maybe kind of new to Windows users, but Mac users have seen this before. It's Apple's latest mouse that they come out with is the Mighty Mouse, it's called. Oh. You have one of these with your iMac?
I do.
You do. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, I have I've just got this Mac that they sent us to use Final Cut Pro on that we were talking about a month or so back. I got to tell you, I have a love-hate relationship with this mouse because this little ball on top. I don't know if you can see it there. It's maybe a little bit too bright on the screen. But this little ball, instead of just a one-directional scroll, right? It scrolls anyway.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like feeling your tummy if you had an Audi belly button. What do you think?
Or like a big pimple.
Or like a big pimple, and once you start picking at it, you can't stop.
Man, that's a
big pimple. That's a
big one. It's gonna take a lot of cream.
What do you think of that? Compared to you've had the mice with just the scroll wheel before.
I see. I like it. Yeah, I like it. But I actually ended up getting a completely different wireless mouse. I ended up not going with either this mouse or the one that came with my Apple in the first place, just because I like the clicks on top.
Well, so here's the thing. This has no physical buttons that you can see, right? If you push down over here, you get a left click, and if you push down over here, you get a right click. But I'm used to kind of resting my fingers on there. Right. You actually have to take your finger off of here so that it knows you're clicking on this side. If your finger's resting on here and you click over here, it doesn't register as a right click. So that's the hate part. I love the scroll thing because you're in a spreadsheet. Yeah, I do like that. You can scroll left, you can scroll right, up, down, diagonally. You're trying to view a big web page.
It's a nice size.
It's a nice size.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed, I've actually talked to a few people who didn't realize that these on the side, this is a button too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I know you know that.
But what did
they just thought it was like part of the design. Yeah. But there are actually these buttons on the side too, and you can push this down as well. Yeah. So you've got left, right. But for a long time, Apple only had the one button mouse, and they just thought that was the way to go. Microsoft 3-button mouse? What's that?
What are they doing?
Right. So now they've got this. They came out with this. They finally put this on, and they kind of have a second click, but I don't know.
Well, maybe this is their compromise.
Right.
Okay, we're not agreeing that 2 clicks is the way to go, but, maybe we'll go 1.5 ways.
Now, if you are somebody who works with big spreadsheets or with a big monitor, you have to cover a lot of ground for. You know how you end up doing this, right? You've got to do the pick it up and bring it back. One solution to that problem is this guy. This is the Kensington Expert mouse, which is odd because it's not a mouse. It is a trackball, and the ball comes right out. Would you like to see my ball?
Oh, look at that. It's pretty light, huh?
It is pretty light. I mean, it looks like it should be heavy, like bowling ball.
Yeah, it does.
Pops right in there, and give that a roll. You can see, again, you put your hand on top of it, and your idea is your thumb. This is the primary button down here, button number 1. Of course, it's all programmable, and this is a little wrist rest that it comes with. So you can put your hand on top like this, move it around, and click.
So this would be good for video editing, probably, huh?
Yeah, I tried it video editing last week. It's fantastic because you can get over big distances. I have a 30-inch monitor. Right. You can get over a big monitor without having to do the pick up and drag. Yeah. This stays in one place.
Definitely good for engineering.
CAD files, spreadsheets, CAD files, all that kind of stuff. Great. Now, this is what's really cool about this. I guess what makes it expert is, as well as these 4 buttons that you've got around here, there's also this scroll wheel. See this? Oh. So because people say, well, how do you scroll? Because there's no scroll wheel. So here you've got this dial that turns. Yeah. And what you do is, again, with your hand on it like this, you can be scrolling, and then I find that I can just put my fingers here and scroll. Give that a try. So scrolling. Or mousing. Or balling. Dial.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and this is all programmable. So you can change it from a horizontal scroll to a vertical scroll. You can change what these buttons do if you're left-handed versus right-handed.
But would a normal person be able to program that pretty easily?
Yeah, I mean, there's only the 4 buttons. 4 buttons, and there's also chording, which is button combinations. So you can do what happens when you press both buttons at once. That's like a chord.
Right? It sounds like a chord, like a piano, right?
Exactly.
A C and a G note.
Right. So that was the Kensington Expert Mouse. Now, next up, we have another very cool new product. And I really like this one. Again, for video editing, photo editing, anything to do with like Adobe PageMaker, or not PageMaker, what am I thinking? Photoshop. Anything like that. This is a fantastic device. Logitech has gone and said, okay, you've got the mouse in the right hand. What's your left hand doing? So they've made a device that is not to replace the mouse, but is designed to give your left hand something to do. Oh. It's a left hand device, while your right hand stays on the mouse.
How dare your left hand rest and not be working?
Which is a neat concept, but the problem is they've given this the worst name. This is, before I tell you what I think it is, it's NULOOQ. How would you pronounce that?
NULOOQ.
NULOOQ?
Yeah. Sounds like French, huh?
I thought it was NULOOQ. I guess that would be more of an X. LOX?
NULOOQ.
NULOOQ. So Nulu makes it sound like some sort of a lavatory.
It does.
Device.
It's a NULOOQ.
NULOOQ. It's very poor marketing on the name, but it's a very cool product. Now let me show you how this works. So there's basically 3 sections to this product. There is this gray ring on the bottom, and it does 2 things. It moves slightly left and right, and up and down, and will move and will turn. But take a feel of that. It doesn't move very much. It's just like a millimeter or 2 in either direction, and you can slide it, and it'll slide you around your web page or what have you, and you turn it like this, and it will scroll up and down or zoom in and out, whatever you have it set to. Then on the top there are buttons here, and these ones click. There's 4 buttons here that click, and then one in the middle that's just touch sensitive. And then they've taken a page from iPod, and this is an iPod dial. And it's, by default, it will control like the volume on your computer. Right. But you can set it up. Again, this is completely programmable to whatever controls you want. And you can have it do different things in different applications. Feel that? Doesn't that feel like an iPod on top? But
I guess maybe I'm just like missing the point.
Right.
This is for your left hand. You got your mouse for your right hand. This controls obviously something separate than what your mouse controls. So you have your mouse in your right hand.
That's right. So your mouse is around here, and for instance, it'll do things like if you're in a big photo in Photoshop, instead of having to take your hand off the mouse to zoom or to scroll around, you can leave that on there, and you can zoom by turning this, or you can change, like for instance, the brush thickness. A lot of people using Photoshop will have to change the thickness of the brush. You can use this dial to change the thickness of your brush.
I see. So now you become pretty much like an airplane pilot. You know, you're steering your ship and you're doing everything at the same time.
That's right.
Sort of. So I would say that this would probably be great, but it might take a little getting used to.
It does take a little bit of getting used to.
NULOOQ.
NULOOQ. I thought it was new looks. But you're right. That would be X. LOOX would be looks.
Yeah.
NULOOQ. NULOOQ. NULOOQ.
NULOOQ.
But it means nothing. NULOOQ.
Well, it doesn't mean anything. Well, it means something because it means that it's a...
Why didn't they call it the mouse buddy? Or the left hand... I don't know. Maybe that's why they call it NULOOQ. They couldn't figure out what to call it.
Maybe.
Now, finally today, this is a product that got sent to us by this inventor guy. And this is called the Mouse Glider.
Okay.
And this is a mouse accessory, and let me tell you what you do with it. So you take this, you'll notice that it's kind of got like neoprene material here. Yeah. And the idea is that one of the big problems with mousing is that you drag your palm like this. Your palm is rubbing against, when you do that, I mean, you're not, unless you do this, you're dragging your palm. Can you mouse a bit? See how your palm's on the table? Yeah. So what this guy says is you take your mouse and you put it in this space. And he sells different ones. This is actually designed for a bigger mouse. Right. But so there's 2 things.
That is your mouse.
So now, if you're doing small movements, you can just move the mouse around. But when you do a large movement, you slide the whole thing. The whole thing, including your wrist. Give that a try.
Oh, that's a very creative idea.
So now your wrist, see how much less...
I like it. And you know, it's very... It's easy to move. I mean,
it's easy to move, but you don't realize how much drag there is from your palm.
Okay, I think I have a callus
on there. Just too much mouse.
Dragging my palms. Wow, what a very creative mouseglider.com.
Mouseglider.com.
That was great. I'm glad that
he actually saw us on YouTube and he said, "Would you take a look at this product?" And I said, "Yeah." Now, great. I gave this to Vance over here, a friend of mine who works in our office, and he tried it, and the only thing he didn't like about it was the noise. So, I don't know if you can hear that.
Oh, please.
It's kind of scratchy on the table, a little bit. He doesn't like it. He uses a mouse pad, which he says is silent. So, there is a little, can you hear that? There's a little bit of that noise.
Yeah, I suppose. I guess
you're not discounting Vance's opinion, are you? Because that would really hurt his.
No, I'm just saying Vance. It just depends on what sort of things distract you. You know, some people don't get distracted by that. Some people, I suppose.
Oh, sorry, I was distracted.
Did you say something?
Yeah. So you like that, huh?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Now it comes with a couple of little bits of silly putty. Not silly putty.
Silly putty. Is that?
What's the silly putty you use to stick things on the wall with? Blue tack or something like that.
Right.
And it comes with a little bit. So if you don't want to have this small movement, he says that the best way to do it is to have small movements here and big movements here.
I would say.
But if you don't want to do that, you can put the silly putty on your mouse and it will lock it in. So it always, even the small movements.
Ah, very nice.
Mouseglider.com.
Very good invention.
Yes.
Very creative.
So that's the first half of the show today. We had the Mighty Mouse from Apple. We had the Kensington Expert Mouse Trackball. Not really a mouse, trackball. We had the Logitech Nulu Q. And we have the mouse glider.
I was going to say one more thing about the mouse glider, and that is now when you do have a big screen like you're talking about, 30 inch, I mean, wouldn't that, it covers everything?
Yes.
I mean, so
however, I just thought of a problem. If you want to pick your mouse up, it doesn't, I guess you can pick it up, but you got to keep your foot there, or else, you don't want to do that by accident.
Right.
If you're moving over here and you go back to scroll some more, you've got to take it with you.
Right.
I guess that's maybe what the silly putty's for.
Probably.
It's not silly putty. What am I thinking of? Blue tack.
The sticky stuff. Gum. Gum in a pinch.
That's the first half of the show, but we will be back in 30 seconds. Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Andy Walker. Have you just bought a new computer with Windows Vista on it? Or maybe you've got an old XP computer that you're upgraded. Well, we've just created an amazing new DVD that'll teach you everything you need to know about the new operating system from Microsoft. It's called Getting Started with Windows Vista. In this DVD, there are 3 sections. One is out of the box, what you need to do as soon as you start up Vista. Number 2 is Vista Essentials, things you need to know every day to make your computer experience amazing. Antivirus, security, all kinds of new features that Vista offers. And finally, Geek Tips and Tricks, things you need to know that nobody else will have told you to make you a Vista guru. For more information, check out our website at gettingstartedvideo.com.
And welcome back to Neophyte.tv. In the second spotlight profile segment thingy today, we're going to be taking a look at probably has got to be one of the most interestingly subjects to talk about in the world, and that's wireless routers.
Oh, yes. Now that is a fascinating topic.
This is the DLink Extreme N. And anytime that they use the word extreme,
it's extreme.
It's got to be good. DIR 655. DLink Extreme N wireless router. It's in apple white. Very shiny. You know what? Do you remember when I was first starting to shave a while back? You had like one blade,
yesterday.
Right? And then they came out with like the double-edged blade, Gillette double thing, and then there was like the Mach 3 blades, and now you can get like 4, and I think you can even get 5 blades on a
I've seen
razor.
4. But at the Art of Shaving, you ever heard of that store?
No.
Oh, they have, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a very cool store.
So I'm wondering if this is what's happening with routers now. Is they're just going to throw more antennas on? It's like, well, you used to have 1 antenna, and now you have 2, and now you have, look, 3 antennas, and 3 must be better than 2.
Is it better than 2?
Well, funny you should ask that. So this uses the Draft N. Okay, there was 802.B, 802.11b was the first Wi-Fi.
You're so talking like geek.
802.11.b, right? And then they came out with 802.11.g, which was like faster than B. The G router. Oh, you know what the G router is.
I know the G router.
Right. Can you find the G router?
Yes.
And now they've come out with 802.11n. So all the new routers are going to have N. Now, some people worry about buying them because it hasn't been finalized as a standard yet. That's why they call this a Draft N router.
Okay.
It's draft.
Draft.
And the idea is if there are any changes to the standard by the time the standard is finally made a standard, you can update this by firmware.
Okay.
You download the firmware from the website, you zip to this, and it's great. But this is a very cool router. I put this in at my house, and it literally doubled the range of my old G router.
Serious?
Yeah, very fast.
Really?
Now, and the other problem is my old G router, whenever I would bring in an old 802.11b thing, it would bring the speed of everything else on the network down.
Right.
So unless you have like all G, if you have one some guy bring over a laptop with an older one that's just 802.11b. Have I lost you, or you're still with me?
No, I'm with you.
Just making sure.
I was thinking a very complicated question I'm going to ask you in a minute.
You're like going, pizza for lunch. I just want to have pizza.
I love those shoes I saw at Nordstrom's. Maybe I could still get them.
Right. With the 802.11, there's a lot less of that. So you can have some N, like some of my computers have the N, like the Mac has the N in it. My old HP has a G. And I have an old tablet PC that only has B, and they can all sort of coexist without bringing the speed. It still brings the speed down, but not nearly as much. I'm glad I got that out of the way.
Right. You still with us?
Yeah.
Wake up! Just kidding.
Like most routers, this has all your ports on the back. And let me tell you one cool thing about this is that this is one of the first consumer routers that has gigabit Ethernet ports back here. Now, what's a gigabit Ethernet?
A gigabit.
Port? Yeah, that's very fast. Oh. So in the first, I can see you're like,
I'm like computing.
Wow, getting excited. Yeah. I can tell.
Gigabit.
So in the early days, Ethernet ran at 10 megabits. Then they came out with the 100 megabit. Which was much faster, 10 times faster than Ethernet, but still not hard drive speed. So if you had a hard drive plugged in somewhere on your network and you were trying to pull files off it, it still went kind of slow. Most routers out there today are still 100 megabits.
Right.
So if you have a computer over here and a computer over here and you want to pull a file across, it takes a long time.
Yeah, I know all about that.
But gigabit,
especially big photos.
Yeah, gigabit Ethernet, which this has, and most new computers now have gigabit Ethernet on it. It's like hard drive speed.
Wow.
Yeah. So if I plug my Mac in on one point, now we're not talking wireless now.
Right.
Plugged in.
Okay.
It's not gigabit over wireless.
Oh,
plugged in.
I was thinking wireless. I was
plugged in. It's got to be plugged in.
All right. Okay.
So once it's plugged in, if I want to pull a file from one laptop to another with Gigi, it comes across as if that hard drive was in the machine. I mean, it's very, very fast, or at least as fast as a USB hard drive would be. One downside to this, and I'll plug it in and show you, the lights on the front are blinding. Let me show you.
Oh boy, you don't want that in your bedroom, huh?
Well, exactly. My router is it's not in my bedroom.
It's under your bed. You got the router.
It is in a bedroom. Here, I'm going to plug it in. And I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, they are bright lights. And I can shut them down here on the table. I mean, you like walk around at night and they're bright.
Well, why are you complaining about that, though?
Well, I actually have to put a piece of tape over them.
Because it really
or else it looks like, because when I turn the lights off on my thing, it looks like there's a lightning storm going on.
Do you really keep it in the bedroom?
Well, I keep it in a room that is a bedroom.
Oh, okay.
It's like the guest room.
Okay.
And that's where my computer is at home.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
My office / guest room. Right. But literally, I'd have to put a piece of tape over here. If we ever have a guest over, or if we ever, like I say, if you just leave the door open at night, it's like a lightning storm coming out of the room.
Wow.
Yeah, like lights up the entire room. I know we're under these bright studio lights, so it's hard to see right here. But I mean, these are bright. Let me tell you.
And there's no way you can dim them, obviously.
Not that I could find. Like I was looking in the firmware, I couldn't find a way to dim it. But $125.
Okay.
That's about double the price of a G router.
And what's your time worth exactly? Right?
Well, exactly.
I
think it's the way to go right now if you're going to buy a router. Spend the extra $60 and get a G router.
I agree.
So that is the DLink wireless Draft N. It's the DLink Extreme N wireless router with gigabit Ethernet ports on the back. I give it a 4 out of 5. It's just those bright lights. I wish there was a way to dim those lights.
Oh, I don't care. Well, of course I haven't seen the firestorm coming out of your guest bedroom, but you know what? I can't give it I can't minus a point for the lights. It's crazy.
Other than that?
5 out of 5 for me.
5 out of 5. So it's 5 out of 5 for Tiff. 4 out of 5 for me. It's 9 out of 10 for the DLink Extreme N router. And that's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Please visit our website, www.neo-fight.tv. That was my little William Shatner impersonation there.
Any questions?
Fight.tv. Email us with any questions. I'm done. And if you have an extra 30 seconds, take a look at this. In today's fast-paced world, it's vitally important that young people develop a good understanding of how computers operate and how the internet works. LittleGeeks.org takes donated computers, refurbishes them, and then provides them to underprivileged kids at no charge. It's our goal at LittleGeeks.org to make sure that no kids are left out of the digital revolution. To find out how you can help, please visit www.littlegeeks.org. Thanks a lot.